I know that at the time, drug use was really big in the world of wrestling, not just to cope with pain, but also to come down from the high of being in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
What was your earliest memory of seeing drugs being used by a wrestler?
Smoking pot.
Okay.
I wasn't around the main event guys that could afford to do other things.
Okay, so you weren't
Pot and beer.
so you weren't seeing guys taking somas or anything like that yet.
No, 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 no. It was mostly beer and that's it. Maybe a little pot. Drugs weren't used the way they got to be in the 80s. You know, the drug use wasn't there in the 60s and 70s.
So the worst it ever got to was pot during those days.
Yeah.
Um, at what point did you feel like you were ready to have a match in front of a live crowd? Like how much longer after you got to Florida as a ref did it take?
Oh, I started having matches in front of live crowds in Florida, but I was really, really bad.
Oh, really?
Oh God, I stunk the house up. You know, I just didn't get it. I wasn't getting it. And so after about 6 months, they had to let me go.
So they didn't even keep you on as a referee.
No, no, I'd done my time.
So you're green as grass. You've got very little experience, maybe 6 months or so. What was the next move after Florida let you go?
After Florida let me go, I went to Mobile, Alabama. I went to Memphis, Tennessee. I went to Nashville, Tennessee. Each place doing about 6 months
Mm-hmm.
to learn. Then I went to Kansas City. And in Kansas City, I got with Buck Robley.
Okay.
And Buck probably had more to do with me becoming a wrestling star than anybody.
No shit.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah.
learn
He
from Buck?
how to smoke pot.
That's going to be a critical step for sure.
Yeah, it was, man. He just talked to me and explained shit to me and got in my head, you know, and an opportunity come for me to go from Kansas City, where I was on first match, to go to Vancouver, Canada, and have the opportunity to wind up in the main event.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I was just starting to catch on. And when I went to Vancouver, it's like somebody threw gasoline on me, man, and lit me up because I started learning shit right and left. I'd finally got it. So I wound up going from the first match to the main event. And
If,
I was off and running then. I went from there to Japan, spent 12 weeks in Japan. And I went from there to Calgary to Stu Hart. So I worked for the Harts.
so that covers a period. If you started in 74, then that covers a period of about 5 years before you made it to the Hearts territory. And that's the area where you started to, that was the first time you were on TV wrestling, right?
No, I was on TV in Vancouver also.
Oh, okay. Just like local television there.
Yeah,
When you're in Vancouver, I had it in my research here that Moose Morowski was a guy who may have trained
yeah,
you up.
yeah, yeah. Moose took me under his wing and we started wrestling each other and we wound up being in a cage match at a sold out house in Vancouver.
Main event.
Yeah,
How far into your career were like how many months or whatever in were you by the time you made it to Vancouver? Do you remember?
probably about 3.5 years.
Okay. So, I mean, when you were with Buck Robley, you were in the Kansas City territory for a bit learning under him, right?
About 7 months.
Okay. And how long did you end up in Vancouver in total?
About 8 months.
Okay. And, after that, you felt like, okay, you were confident in
Yeah,
your in-ring abilities.
yeah, I was confident I could go anywhere and wrestle.